Number 17, Karl Malone.
So, the mailman, 11-time first-team All-NBA. That is tied for the second most ever. 2-time second team, 1-time third team, which gives him tied for the 5th most All-NBA teams ever. He's a 2-time MVP with 9 years top 5 MVP finisher. 9 years he was a top 5 MVP finisher. When we started making this list, he was the 2nd all-time leading scorer. LeBron has since passed him. He is now the 3rd all-time leading scorer. He's the 7th all-time leading rebounder. He has the 2nd most minutes of all time. He has a career average of 25 and 10. He's the only player of the last 50 years to have a career average of 25 and 10, other than Joel Embiid, and Embiid has the benefit of not having that end of his career part of it drag him down like most guys do. He has 17 seasons of averaging at least 20 points per game. That's tied for the 2nd most of all time. So again, he's the number 3 all-time leading scorer, number 7 all-time leading rebounder, number 2 all-time in minutes, top 5 in All-NBA teams, his 2nd most first-team All-NBAs ever, the only 25 and 10 guy of the last 50 years, is 17 years averaging at least 20 points per game. So why is he only 17th? Well, it's not because the postseason resume is non-existent, but the postseason resume is not nearly what the regular season resume is. So let's go through the good with a little bit of the bad mixed in. 1988, averaged 32 and 12 for his first career series win, and then averaged 29 and 12 in a 7-game loss to the Lakers, who would go on to win the title, including in Game 7, 31, 15, and 4. So again, young Karl Malone, Game 7 against a Lakers team that would go on to win the title, 31, 15, and 4. Then a couple years without much in the playoffs, then 1991. Had a 38, 13, and 4 to beat Phoenix in round 1, and then had a 40 and 16 in a Game 2 loss in round 2 to Drexler and the Blazers. They would lose that series in 5. 1992, he gets to his first career Western Conference Finals. How does he get there? By eliminating Kemp and Payton in Seattle with a 37 and 13. And then in 92, against Portland in the Western Conference Finals, had a 38 and 14 in a critical Game 5 series, tied 2 games apiece, but they lost in overtime. They would go on to lose the series, and he wasn't great in the final game. 1994, Western Conference Semis, Game 7 against Dikembe. 31 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists to get back to the Western Conference Finals, but lost to Akeem in those Western Conference Finals, and then lost to Akeem again in round 1 next year. This is why Akeem's going to be so high on this list. If you notice from the Barkley segment, it's like, what happened to Barkley? Why didn't he make more the finals? Oh, he lost to Akeem. What happened to Malone? Oh, he lost to Akeem. 1996, though, for Karl Malone, facing elimination in the Western Conference Finals against Seattle in Game 6. 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals. But then in Game 7, wasn't great, and he still hadn't been to a finals. Now we're a decade into his career. 1997. This is going to be Malone's moment. He won league MVP that year. It was controversial. A lot of people thought Jordan should have won it. Jordan should have won it. But Malone won league MVP. It's his first league MVP. He's playing Shaq in round 2. Has a 42 and 9, followed by a 32 and 20 in games 4 and 5, and they beat Shaq in 5. Utah did. Had a 37 and 10 in game 3 against the Bulls, down 0-2. And for the series, averaged 24, 10, and 4. Not bad, but he was always efficient in his career. He was only 44% in those finals. The Bulls win in 6. It's another majestic Jordan, performance and Jordan moment, the flu game and all that. And he loses in 6 to Michael, but 24, 10, and 4, not that bad. 98. Gets Akeem in round 1. Has a 31 and 15 against Akeem. Akeem at this point, now Akeem was older, but is on the downside. Malone, again, had just won league MVP, almost won it again. 31 and 15 to beat Akeem in round 1. In round 3 against Shaq and Kobe, he had a 30, 11, and 5 to sweep Shaq and Kobe out Sweep them out in the Western Conference Finals. Then in the finals, they fall down 3-1. What does he do in game 5? 39 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. And then in game 6, the box score looks good. 31 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. But we all know the story there. Bulls down 3. MJ hits 2 free throws. Bulls down 1. Karl Malone has the ball in the right box. MJ comes around the baseline, strips it from him, goes down, hits the jump shot. Stockton misses a desperation 3, and the Bulls win the series. Bulls win the title. So he averaged for that series more than respectable, 25 point, 11 rebound, 4 assists. This time on 50% shooting, but not quite enough. Then in 99, is the league MVP. In round 2, game 6, round 2 in game 6, he has 8 points, and his team goes home. In 2000, starts the playoffs off. Karl Malone, not dead yet. 50-12 to start the playoffs off against Seattle, but they don't go very far. He then eventually signs with the Lakers in 2004. In 2004, to his credit, he did have a 30-point playoff game, but he got hurt late in the playoffs. It's one of the reasons the Lakers got blown off the court against Detroit. Then his career was over. So he doesn't have a lot of singularly great postseason moments. However, 54 times he scored 30 in a playoff game. That's the 9th most all time. 154 times he scored 20 in a playoff game. That's the 5th most all time. He is 7th all time in playoff minutes, playoff points, and playoff rebounds. So there is some compiling there. I understand that. And he was not, no one's going to argue, he was a great playoff performer. He got a little worse come the postseason. But in the regular season, the resume is unimpeachable. That's how he becomes the 17th greatest player of the last 50 years, Karl Malone. Here is a caller who has a Karl Malone question or comment.
John Stockton, when it came to the Utah Jazz and the Stockton-Malone combo, was the more important of the two. I'm just saying. That means that you've got John Stockton as a top 15 player.
No, Rick, you know I don't have John Stockton in the top 16. We had John Stockton in the top 25. We had John Stockton 24th, which is not at all anything to sneeze at. But Rick's the first person I've ever heard make the argument Stockton was better than Malone. I've literally never heard someone make that argument. Again, Karl Malone 11 times was first team All-NBA. John Stockton 2 times was first team All-NBA. Karl Malone had 9 top 5 MVP finishes. John Stockton had 0 top 5 MVP finishes. So listen, I understand Stockton, all-time leader in assists, all-time leader in steals. It's why he's in the top 25. But no. Stockton's not better than Malone. Nobody actually thought Stockton was better than Malone. I can't believe Rick actually thought that. I love Rick Bucher. Rick is one of my favorite things to say about colleagues of mine who I disagree with a lot. Rick Bucher, great guy, bad takes. This might be the worst non-LeBron Rick Bucher take I've heard. Other than that, I appreciate him contributing to the show. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.